Welcome back to our next session, and this one is on compliance. It's a topic that is near and dear to a lot of our customers' hearts and maybe keeping some folks up at night. So really an important one that I wanted to cover, and I'm joined today by our new SVP of Global Compliance, Marcus Hornberg. Welcome to Basware. Welcome to Basware Bespoke. We're thrilled to have you with us today.
Thank you, Jason.
Why don't you tell folks a little bit about yourself?
Well, everything about me is around compliance, really. So close to my heart, and really passionate about compliance because of the importance for our customers on a global scale. I've been doing it for 25 years. I've been witness to a lot of these things that are deemed accurate and up to date today. I can actually tell a story around why these things have already been up to date 25 years ago. And that's the type of experience I bring to the table, and I'm thrilled to be here.
Awesome. Well, as I said, this is a topic that's really important to our customers, and therefore it's important to us. You're talking to a lot of our customers. What are you hearing from them? What are the challenges that are kind of top of mind for them from a compliance perspective?
Sure. The one thing that I'm experiencing time and again is customers all of a sudden waking up to a government announcement, right? For a very long time. A lot of them. That is true. And for a very long time, given that 25 years is not necessarily a short time period, right? So governments like Switzerland launching legislation that allows you to replace paper invoices. That's the first step. The second step then being EU VAT directives, where electronic invoicing has been allowed for a very long time. And then over to Mexico, Brazil, Chile, who in the late 2000s, early 2010s, then launched government mandates that we're now seeing pop up across Europe, but also in Asia. It's not necessarily something new that happens, but businesses really have a tendency to wait it out and see whether it's really becoming an issue. And as we see now with governments strapped for cash, they really want to improve tax collection. And that is why legislation is now being issued that no longer gives them like an opportunity to implement these processes, but a force, a compelling event, if you want, that actually now forces them to implement new processes. And now they find out, oh, we should have done this a lot earlier. And now they are not really aware of where to start. So that's the most common denominator, really, that I'm encountering.
Got it. And you and I have talked in the past, about there's a tactical approach to going about compliance. Correct. And a more strategic, right? And the tactical is just you respond, right? You react Correct. To these countries' Correct. Mandates, as you said. What's the more strategic approach, right? If our customer said, hey, what should we do? Yeah. What's best practice? What's strategic? What would you say?
Yeah. So the most important thing you should do is talk to Basware, first and foremost. I mean, that's a self-speaking thing, right? Now it all just happens is not just a slogan. For me, it's something that coincides, obviously, with the legislation that is being published. But with Basware, we can basically help you cover it. That's the most important message I think that I give to customers. This is a service provider that has been in there for 40 years. There's no one else in the market who can counter that argument. So 40 years of experience in AP automation, in making sure that whatever you process gets processed in a compliant way, because this is something that people tend to forget. People are talking about, oh, now we have compliant invoices from governments and what else? Non-compliant invoices? You always have to have 100% compliant invoices. Right. But the problem that digital paper, aka PDF, is creating, scanning in OCR, all those processes where massive media breaks exist, where lots of people are getting involved, where there are so many points of potential failure along the process chain, is just not helping you to get up to speed with these kinds of things. So at Basware, we firmly believe that you need a service provider that you can trust, that helps you trade in confidence, where you don't necessarily as a business have to monitor for legal changes. Of course, you cannot outsource compliance to a third party, but you can pick a provider that helps you do exactly that while focusing on your daily business, right? Governments are not here to help you improve straight-through processing. They're not here to help you improve your business relationships with suppliers. They're essentially here to improve their own tax collection and revenue generation. And that is not going hand in hand with your own plans. So having a proactive, agile approach, a strategic approach to how do I want to process the most important document in my business that has a direct impact on my annual results, that has a direct impact on whether or not an audit is passed, or I'm failing this one, risking all the penalties included in that one. That's where you need a service provider that helps you, and that's who we are at Basware.
Got it. So there's a lot to unpack in that. So I want to dive in a little bit. So I think one is always good to understand the various stakeholders and what their motivations are. And I think you clearly hit it. The countries are not in it for, automation,
correct,
right? And our benefit as our customers benefit, right? They're in it for the tax collection, right? And they essentially, I don't know if this is a U.S. only phrase, or it works globally, but we have an expression in the U.S. that's, never waste a good crisis, right? And these mandates are in essence a crisis, right? A forced, pending event, that you have to take advantage of. So what I think I heard you say was the best companies, the strategic way of looking at it is, yes, take advantage of the crisis that you have, but think about it more like what we talked about earlier in one of the earlier sessions about how do I get touchless? How do I get 100% touchless
Yes.
across all my invoices?
Yes.
What are your thoughts, reaction to that?
My thoughts are that there are so many different opinions in the market right now. And as a customer, I am confused as to how I should approach this. So I work backwards from my intended goal. And for every CFO, and that's the person that we are targeting with everything that we say, what is the CFO's intention and objective? The CFO wants to stay out of jail, first and foremost.
Right. They don't look good in stripes.
No,
That's a
they
general
don't.
rule, right?
No, they don't. And you don't want to end up in some of these jails in some of these countries that have issued the mandates, for sure. But the one objective is they want to have clean data sheets, clean annual results. And clean annual results can only be created if you have a clean invoicing process. It's as easy as that. And it's
100%. All your invoices
100%.
everywhere you operate.
Exactly. So all the things that we've heard in the previous sessions about AP Protect, all these kinds of things have some role to play in creating these clean annual results. And what I think is the most important thing for everyone to understand is if you have control over the entire process chain, you create a transparent audit trail for every single document. I call this know your transaction.
Right.
You need to know your transaction and you need to have a clean vendor master. So with a service provider like Basware, we are giving you all of this. We don't guarantee compliance, no one can.
Right.
But we are giving you a platform. And that's the very important thing. This is not a software project. We're giving you a platform to operate on that helps you achieve all the things that you want to achieve while automatically responding to these mandates that are coming up. Because turning it on its head, if you just go after the mandates, you end up with a disaster that in the software space has been called customization.
Right.
So you're starting to customize your own internal processes to an extent that you will have island solutions in every single country. So Basware, and the reason why we are proud of what we've achieved so far, is we want to give you a global standard process where underneath the hood, everything works smoothly and you're compliant with these requirements and mandates. You don't have to stay up at night because you have a strategy through the use of Basware to respond to mandates globally.
It sounds like we make it all just happen for them.
We make it all just happen.
But it also, all joking aside, when I hear you describe that, right, that sounds like there's a real change management element to it. Tell me about that. Tell our customers about
exactly.
that.
Well, thanks for raising that one. If you tell a person who's used to touching paper, tomorrow that paper is gone and you will look at a screen.
I love my paper.
That's it, right? But the thing is, that is change management. And the most important aspect for successful services to be rendered and for successful projects to be delivered in this particular space is you need to have everyone on board. You need to have down to the AP clerk who today manages the potential manual keying in of data into ERP systems. These people all need to be informed about the objective. There needs to be a global process owner in your business. If you have not assigned a global process owner to this massive transformation project that is ahead of you, then you will likely have issues delivering this whole thing. If you don't have your audit people involved and you're relying on an extensive RFP that has thousands of questions in there that will satisfy your IT department, that any service provider has an uptime of whatever. But if you don't have the clarity that your service provider actually does what you need in order to trade in confidence, all of that is meaningless.
Okay.
So change management at the core, be prepared, have a strategy, know what you want to achieve. Then you're already at a good starting point.
I mean, if we don't have to respond to RFPs with thousands of line items, I don't know what we're going to do with all our free time. I guess we'll just have to deliver a better customer experience and things like that. But again, in all seriousness, change management is important. I heard that. And you mentioned a new group that we don't talk about a lot, audit, right?
Yes.
If you're one of our customers, put yourself in their shoes right now, and you're thinking about change management, who are the stakeholders that we need to bring together, and how do we facilitate that conversation?
Sure. Historically speaking, even e-invoicing projects have been purchased by procurement. Funny enough, right? What does procurement care about finance? But it's a matter of fact. Some people buy procurement solutions and get some invoicing bundled in, and then they wonder why it falls over when the finance people finally see what kind of stuff they have delivered to the doorstep. So one of the most essential things is the setup of everything. If you want to set yourself up for success, you need to have all the stakeholders in there. And one group that historically has been sort of neglected for reasons beyond my control, I have to say. Sometimes I don't understand whether people sometimes really miss the point that they exist. But those are the internal auditors, the tax people that will have to live with the fallout from wrong selections, for example. An RFP is not going to fulfill the requirements in terms of taxes. There are other priorities in RFPs. Yes, there is the odd one tax question. But here's the deal. If you're delivering these projects and all of a sudden something's wrong with the calculation, something is wrong with the invoice integrity, something is wrong where, yes, you thought there was a box ticked, but then reality is looking different, then these people come out of their offices and they have enough power, empowered by the CFO, to stop projects from rollout.
Right.
And that is very bad for your ROI calculations and everything else, really. So my take is, get all stakeholders on board. Procurement, yes, they own the supplier relationship. AP, because they have to deal with the processing. They have to sign off the design. The audit people, because they really have to look for the integrity of the process. They have to be happy that whatever comes out of this one is going to keep the company safe. And of course, endorsement from both the CPO as the Chief Procurement Officer and the Chief Financial Officer helps these projects to be delivered successfully, because these projects are now moving to a very strategic level. Instead of being tactical, yes, we want to replace some paper.
Right.
Now, with all the governments issuing the legislation globally, this is very strategic for every business.
Got it. And IT plays a role here as well, right?
Well, there's historically, again, speaking, IT was very heavily involved in these kinds of projects because they also build a lot themselves.
Right.
But at Basware, we believe that e-invoicing is essentially a service. And we have built a platform that caters for the need. Yes, there are obviously adaptations to ERP environments because, yes, new government invoice formats require different processing inside the ERP system.
Right.
So all of these things will affect IT. So you will be well advised to have IT in the mix and in the project team. I'm not necessarily so sure that IT is going to play the central part, because why using a service provider? Why bringing in software if then all of a sudden you decide to build everything yourself? We've had this in the past. About 15 years ago, a lot of people tried to actually discard the idea of involving an existing service provider, building that stuff themselves. We all know where that went, rather nowhere, because it is and will remain essentially a service. Whether there's a government involved, whether you're doing point-to-point connections, whether you're catering for everything else, it's still a project that is surrounding services. And that's what we believe in at Basware. And now it all just happens means it just happens. You don't have to go through massive IT investments to get these things done, because most of the complexities we take out of the equation.
Got it. And tell the people about the, like, what are the complexities we take away, right? I heard you say things like monitoring the mandates all over the world. That's one, but what are the other complexities?
Well, monitoring seems to be like, if I look at LinkedIn, it seems to be like the most important thing. I want to know everything about a mandate, right? Oh, what does that mean? How does that translate into my business approach, right? And so this is really what it takes. You need to understand, how do I map what I have today into the future? And what is easier than to use Basware, who are already managing your invoice processing, who have 40 years of experience in invoice processing. Let us deal with the complexities of format mappings, these requirements of getting certified in some country or actually getting the process approved and all these kinds of things. That is not part of the daily business of our customers.
That's what I hear, right? We're not in the business of compliance. We're in the business of operating a restaurant group or an insurance company or a metal manufacturer, or whatever it might be.
Absolutely.
Right? This is non-core to our business.
Absolutely. This is where that's our core business.
Right.
That's our core business. So we are monitoring. So as a customer of Basware, you can rest assured that we have 24/7 surveillance on the market. Yeah? Yeah. There's no option for us to not know what is going to go on in any given country. So we know, we have the knowledge, right? But what is important for you is that we also can tell you if you're operating e-invoicing in some country or invoicing in some country, right? Let's stick to that one. We can help you map this existing process into the future. Now, there will be adaptations needed, as I said, because if today you're processing a piece of paper and tomorrow there is a government that says, this is my new XML invoice, it's going to be broader. There's going to be more data involved. The reporting requirements will change, right? All of these things were digitized and are being digitized in those countries coming up. So we can help you through that transition. We can help you manage that change management.
It gets back to that 100% touchless rate that we're trying to get everybody to.
That is absolutely true.
Got it. Got it. Okay. So again, we're going to transport ourselves, put ourselves in the shoes of our customers again. They've heard this conversation. They've got all these mandates going that they're constantly paying maybe internal audits, talking to them. Their CFO's probably asking about it. Next step, like what should they do?
Talk to us.
Okay.
They should talk to us. That's the most important thing, because it's all about communication. Do not assume. Do not embark on your own creative interpretation of legislation. Speak to the experts. We are experts in this field. We get external support from official experts as well. So that's an investment you don't have to take as a customer. We are giving you a package, right, that helps you to understand what is it that I need to do? What is it that I need to observe? And we can together as partners create a plan for you to get these things up and going. So help me with compliance at basware.com is like the easiest way to get in touch. It's an email that will land right on the desk at anyone responsible for compliance at Basware. And we can actually help you understand and respond directly to your questions. But we will not give you a one-size-fits-all answer, because no size will fit everyone, particularly not when it comes to invoice processing in a compliant matter.
So let's tell the folks to help me with compliance at basware.com.
Exactly.
Right? And then I think we can also click on a link. We can get subscribed to our blog. But the best way, you can ask your CSM, you can ask your salesperson. Any of us will get it to there, but help me with compliance at basware.com. That's Absolutely. The email that folks should go to.
That's exactly it.
Awesome. Well, Marcus, thank you so much. This was an awesome conversation. And look, a topic that we know is really top of mind with so many of our customers. And I know for those who are staying awake thinking about it, hopefully this puts you a little bit at ease and you know now where to go, because it's helped me with compliance at basware.com. And now we'll turn it back over to Hannah to continue the show.